Happy Thursday, everyone, and today's episode is, it's going to be a little choppy because things have been very choppy in the market. We're going to be talking about some AMD today, primarily. We're going to be talking about SoFi as well. I'm going to be going over my public profile on this YouTube channel as well, pretty much talking about my positions, stocks that I'm going to be adding to very shortly, stocks that I think are set up for tremendous moves in the next several weeks, and also stocks that could very much experience some volatile pushes to the downside or maybe straight to the upside. So grab some water, grab some coffee, whatever you're drinking. Today is Thirsty Thursday. Happy Thursday once again. It is 10:44 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here. It's a hot one for me. Today's my cardio day, so got to stay hydrated because, 95 degrees out, hot and humid. Going to be doing some running later on today. Oh, man, I already feel it. My AC's on right now, but still, little toasty. Toasty in my gaming office room, video recording room, whatever I really got to call this room. I'm a video gamer, let alone I'm a stock investor, trader. If you're new here, welcome. I put out videos Monday through Friday on this YouTube channel. Sometimes I put out stuff on Saturday as well too. Bonus material, kind of like education. So if you do subscribe, you're going to be getting primarily 5 videos per week and some bonus content as well. Going to start doing live streams on this YouTube channel probably very soon. Definitely around when the market opens, pretty much in the afternoon as well too, when the market closes. And I do have other YouTube channels. Nightmare RH is my main YouTube channel, 200,000 subscribers. Except, a lot of people, they don't want anything to do with the stock market at all. Very much a shame. I mean, it just, there's a lot of bad sentiment right now around the stock market. Okay, let me go ahead and make this screen a lot bigger here. So, I do want to talk about this for a price target of $640 on AMD that Goldman Sachs pretty much gave. And all these analysts, or actually, let me go ahead and back up a little bit, okay? So, price targets, are they accurate or are they just like nonsense? Now, if you are a trader, you can very much say price targets are garbage and, totally ignore price targets at all. I have no clue why my ad blocker is not working. But oh man, I'm getting swamped with ads like crazy right now. Not really too sure where all these things are coming from. But anyways, if you are trading primarily penny stocks, yeah, that's right, penny stocks, right? I have traded penny stocks. I've also been invested in penny stocks as well, too. I've done okay, but ultimately, they're penny stocks for a reason. Okay, I haven't really made life-changing money in penny stocks. I've made life-changing money around growth companies. Therefore, I'm a growth investor. I could very well be a growth trader, but I primarily look for growth companies, not necessarily very volatile momentum penny stocks in a way. I mean, right now I very well could show you maybe 10, 20 penny stocks that are very volatile to the upside. I could also show you penny stocks that are very volatile to the downside, where they're going down by 30, 40, 50% in one day. And then on the flip side, there are also penny stocks that go up 30, 40, 50%, even much as 500% in one day. Now, the thing around price targets, though, is that if you have a company like AMD getting all these price targets to the upside, what is going on in AMD that they're getting all these massive price targets? The fundamentals, okay? I talked about this in a couple videos ago, going over technical analysis, the moving averages, the charts, versus fundamental analysis, okay? If you have a stock like AMD, if we go ahead and look in the chart for AMD, right? AMD on the daily chart, it's not necessarily overbought in the sense of the relative strength index, the RSI, because the relative strength index is sitting at 57. So it's not above 70 to be overbought, and it's not below 30 to be oversold. But we are way above the 50-day moving average, which could signal a lot of being overbought. Now, if we zoom out farther on AMD and we go to the weekly, oh, forget about it. Utterly forget about it. Look at the weekly chart on AMD. We are in nosebleed territory on AMD. Now, why hasn't AMD crashed down to $270, which is the 50-day moving average on the weekly chart? Because they have the fundamentals to back them. So when you are dealing with a company like AMD, and it is way above the moving averages, technical analysis fails, fundamental analysis takes over. Now, let's say hypothetically AMD was a penny stock, and AMD had zero fundamentals to back being overbought, this stock would crash like a hot knife on butter, just slicing. So maybe that's not the best, analogy out there, but the stock would crash down to $270. The stock would go all the way down to maybe $180, okay? The fundamentals are there. Therefore, when you're dealing with a company that is so far above the averages, you got to look at the fundamentals. Look at the fundamentals. Does AMD have the fundamentals to be $640 a share? Does a bear poop in the woods? Yeah. The last time I checked, there's not a bear in my bathroom. So yeah, a bear, sorry, trying to keep it PG here, but sometimes I can't. It's actually, I'm pretty sure you can say the word shit in a PG movie. Don't quote me on that. But a bear definitely shits in the woods, okay? The fundamentals on AMD are entering shocking, crazy numbers. Just like how NVIDIA went through this a couple years ago. Just like how Palantir went through this a couple years ago, okay? So, therefore, a $640 price target, that is nothing on AMD. We could be at $640 on AMD, honestly, within maybe a couple weeks, maybe a couple months. I mean, AMD is not very far away from its all-time high. You're talking about less than 10% away from its all-time high. How much percent is it away from $640 a share? Well, $640. That is 15% from where we are at. That's nothing. That is nothing. So what does that mean? Well, that means that these analysts are going to come out once again, and they're probably going to raise their price targets, which is just going to add more momentum for AMD. So if you are an AMD long-term shareholder like me, you probably have a very big smile on your face. Okay, so that's pretty much what my little spiel for today is on AMD. But the price targets that are coming out on AMD, yeah, they are like utterly crazy. And if you look on the charts for AMD, like it's just bonkers, right? The fundamentals are there on AMD, which is the reason why it's holding its ground. Now, can something drastically happen in AMD? If something drastically happens to the fundamentals of AMD, in the snap of a fingers, we're going to crash down. I don't believe something negative is going to fundamentally happen. I believe it's going to be the opposite. I believe AMD could very well be $1,000 by the end of this year. My bear case around AMD is about $750, $800 a share. Bear case. That's higher than where we are right now. Okay, I'm already sitting on well over close to 150% on my public profile at AMD. That is tremendous amount of upside, okay? My bear case, my base case, what I think is going to happen is basically $1,000 to $1,250 is pretty much my base case. That very well could when I start taking profits on AMD. And why am I taking profits? Because it's in a growth cycle, okay? There is no such thing as holding a stock forever. There will be days where I'm going to be selling some SoFi shares, okay? And I'm not going to be selling my entire position at AMD, okay? But I'm going to be taking a lot of chips off the table. Now, my bull case on AMD is anything much greater than 1250. I mean, there are perma bulls at AMD saying AMD is going to be 2,000 plus and overtake Nvidia. I personally really don't see that. I could be wrong. I've been in this market now since March of 2020. I've learned a lot and I've seen a lot. I don't really see AMD overtaking Nvidia. But that doesn't mean AMD does not become a $2-3 trillion company when Nvidia is $5 or $6 trillion. Could that happen? Sure. Anything is possible. But the more likelihood is that AMD will be at $1,000 per share probably in the next maybe, I mean, it could be 6, it could be maybe 12, maybe a little longer months. It's going to happen very quickly, and it's because the fundamentals are there. So if you're looking at the charts for AMD, it's a risky play. It really is, man or sister. It's a risky play because the fundamentals are there. Okay, so AMD's price target, we talked about that. Now I really want to kind of hit a little bit about pretty much some stuff happening in the Middle East, which is very oil sensitive. So nobody, and by the way, if you're new here, once again, welcome. I am a retail human being. I'm a small fish in a big pond. Do not get discouraged about anything that I show you regarding my profile, because it doesn't matter how much money that you have in a profile. Sorry, I just got a phone call. I had to mute that very quickly. It doesn't matter how much you have in a profile. It matters about your strategy, and it matters if you are actively engaged in the market. Okay? You could be playing with a couple 3 figs. You could be playing with a couple 4 figs. You could be playing with a couple 5 figs. Couple 6 figs. Couple 7, 8, 9, 10. Do you have a strategy? Are you a well-disciplined, well-seasoned human being? Investor or trader? Okay? If you are not well-seasoned, it doesn't matter how much money you have in the market. You're not well-seasoned. You're going to be very emotional. And if you've been following me for primarily the last 8 months now, I have been buying stock when no one has wanted to buy stock. All the people that I talk to, whether it's on the internet or off the internet, they're not like, they're like, no, the stock market's too crazy right now. There's too much going on. That is the best time to buy stock. Okay? Like, when nobody wants stock because you got uncertainty in the Middle East, you got oil basically pretty much hovering left and right. Oil is not really spiking higher. Obviously, $72. We were at $68 a couple days ago. The Iran, war, it's nonsense, okay? It's uncertainty. These are the best times to build positions. The best times. It is fear. When there is a overall fear in the market, it's a great buying opportunity. It's buy the dip. Now, if there is fear revolving a single company, that is when you gotta look and do your due diligence, okay? 2024, I started buying SoFi on my private account. I have 1,642 shares, long-term investor. I initially built that position to 1,500 shares. In 2024, it was scary for SoFi, okay? It really was. You want to see SoFi back in friggin' 2024? Here it is. So, if you go all the way back on SoFi, SoFi for the longest time was in a falling wedge. See this big line on this chart? A falling wedge is basically pretty much where a stock is just going lower, little higher, lower, little higher, lower, little higher, and finally we broke out of this wedge. We really did. It took us a very long time, but we finally broke out of the wedge. pretty much summer of 2024. I started buying SoFi earlier because there was a lot of fears around SoFi. 2024, the Federal Reserve, they halted on interest rate cuts. And there was a lot of fears. And I said, you want to know what? I love the management team. I've been listening to Anthony Noto for a while. And yeah, I want to start buying this stock. And eventually we broke out. The thing about SoFi is that they are very, very sensitive to geopolitical nonsense, interest rates, hikes, cuts, holds. Anything can really sway SoFi in the sense. Now, how can that work in your favor? Well, I mean, if you go back to 2024, I mean, obviously SoFi currently is much higher than these levels, okay? So my shares on my private account, I am definitely very much up. On my public account's coming back to life very much. But there was a time on my public account that I was actually up over 120%, which is pretty crazy. And that was pretty much when SoFi was very, very much over leveraged because we were trading very too rich. We had like a 60 time multiple back in November at all-time highs of last year. The multiple was very too high. Okay, right now for SoFi, we are trading, in my opinion, and also the CEO's opinion, we're actually undervalued. SoFi theoretically should be around anywhere between, realistically, coming from Anthony Noto, 25 to 35 bucks. Why is that? Because they are a hyper growth scaler. They are a massive growth company. Massive growth company. And they're going to be executing for the next several years at crazy growth rates. 30+% growth rates. They're going to be executing. If this Iran war lasts the next couple years, yeah, we got a lot of problems in our government. A lot of problems. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people are just really fed up with all this back and forth. Like, it's the vast majority of people really just want peace and just really want stability. Hopefully we do get that out of this conflict that pretty much happened over the last several months. If we don't get peace out of this, well, once again, our leaders in Washington pretty much just let us down. Don't really mean to get political here, but I mean, I don't really believe that's a political statement. It's just very much factual. Republicans and Democrats, they both have problems. They really do. But as for SoFi, we just need the uncertainty to very much go away. And when that does happen, you're going to see SoFi just snap of your fingers. It's going to be 20s. It's going to be 22, 24, 26. I lived those days of SoFi very recently. It's called last year. Last year during the summer rally, we just ripped all throughout the summer. And yeah, it happens very, very quickly. Okay? Very quickly. SoFi is one of these stocks that just rips like crazy. In conclusion, today's video, my public profile here, my public account is up, very much green today. I'm doing a public profile challenge. If you've been following me on this YouTube channel, you probably know this. I'm looking to take this sum of money to 6 figures in the course of 17 months. The account challenge started 2 January of this year, and I've just been buying stock like crazy. I have bought so much stock where typically I was depositing about $500 into this account every month. I've actually preloaded this account into the end of the year because, and by the way, this account challenge was 18 months. Then I had to lower it down to 17 months because I kept doing large deposits. So there were days where I would be buying a couple $1,000s of AMD. There were days where I would be buying close to $1,000 of SoFi on this account. Robinhood, Palantir, Meta, ServiceNow very much recently started buying. Honestly, wish I had a bigger position in ServiceNow. PayPal, we're gonna hold on for a little bit. Coinbase is a new position for me. Very much started adding. And I now have exposure to cryptocurrency for the first time since friggin' 2021. Yeah, I am a crypto bull. I believe that this year is the 1 year down cycle for cryptocurrency. So I very much believe that cryptocurrency is going to make a rebound very much next year. So, and by the way, all this account is set up on cash, not margin. I don't use margin. This is a margin account, but the only money I use to buying stock is actually cash. Yes, you can be on a margin account, and don't quote me on this because I know there's a lot of changes and rules because that $25,000 limit to basically be a day trader pretty much went away. If you have over, I believe, like $2,000 an account, you automatically become a margin account. Like I said, don't quote me on that. Please do your due diligence, but I highly advise buying stock on margin. I am a firm believer in working hard, building cash, investing your cash, and pretty much making more money. And 2 weeks ago, I have taken a loss on this account. I actually sold Adobe for a $2,000 loss. I also took a loss on my private account as well, too. What I buy on my public account, I do buy on my private, just in very much larger increments. But if you do have multiple profiles, I'm not a financial advisor. You don't need to be a financial advisor to really say this. I highly advise sticking to the same strategy even if you do have multiple accounts. What are the perks to having multiple accounts? Well, on my private account, my SoFi average is $7.41. $7.41. My AMD average is well below $200. On this account, my AMD average is $210. My SoFi average is $15.10. So you can have multiple accounts where if you want to start taking profits, you could theoretically take profits on the account that potentially has a higher like average, if that makes sense. So there's a lot of different strategies around multiple accounts. Not to mention, I just personally like to diverse a lot of things. I have my private account is Robinhood. My public account is Webull. If I were to do this all over again, I would probably just make a brand new Robinhood account because Webull is good, but at the same time, it's painful sometimes. But I have bought stock around like 5:30 in the morning. So I mean, Webull does have its perks. I have multiple bank accounts, multiple checking accounts, multiple savings accounts. I even have some cash in my safe in my house. So, I mean, I'm a firm believer in diversification, pretty much your wealth. Almost positive you don't have to be like someone in the, you know, licensed financial advisor to basically just say, hey, be smart with your money and spread it out pretty much. So, this public account, if we get a whiff, and I'm talking about a small whiff of a rate cut chance this year, SoFi could very much double on this account. That could very much push this account to 60, 65, 66,000. Robinhood is another one because that means people will be taking risk on in the market. Robinhood could theoretically maybe double, which would bring this account very much into maybe the $75,000, low $70,000 range. Palantir is going to move with risk on. Palantir could very much double. Yeah, we could be looking at maybe $300 on Palantir if the market becomes super FOMO-y. That could move this account very much in the high 70,000 range. Software maybe makes a rebound. Coinbase maybe gets some momentum with cryptocurrency. Maybe Ethereum goes up. That can add a couple more thousand. The wild card is going to be AMD. If AMD doubles up from this position it is right now, if AMD goes to $1,000 plus, this account could very well be at $100,000 by the end of this year. Crazy, right? If you are new to the stock market, this is how the stock market allows you to break out of the matrix. Like, I have my life has utterly been transformed by the stock market, because of the stock market, and it's because of doing due diligence and investing in great companies, or trading great companies. If you're a trader, you can make life-changing money, and it will allow you to scale your life very much higher, and ultimately you can live your life on your own terms. I just turned 38 years old, and I live my life on my own terms. I live my life according to me, not according to anyone else. I have a military background. I spent a lot of years taking orders. 15 and a half years in the USMC. Very much done with that. Retired now. And I can definitely tell you that I did not live my life according to me while in the military. I'm living my life very much according to me now. So if you are new to the stock market, please take this as motivation that when you go ahead and pick winners, and as long as the winners outweigh the losers, like Adobe, and Adobe, I forgot to actually pull up here. I sold Adobe at $195. Adobe right now is, come on, man, load quicker, internet. 220. Do I give a shit? No. Why? Because I bought Ethereum with my Adobe. I bought more ServiceNow. I bought some more Palantir. I opened a Coinbase position. I'm gonna get my losses back. So there you go. You got to be disciplined. It doesn't happen overnight. Please understand this. I've been in the market now for 6+ years. Obviously, there are people that might be watching me that have been in the market for 12+ years. It's all about you sticking to your strategy and knowing when to get in, knowing when is the right time to very much be starting to exit. And if things don't go according to your plan, hey, I gotta leave. Gotta leave. Adobe, hey, their management team jump shift. I gotta leave. Gotta leave. CFO, CEO is leaving. Hey, yeah, this is not my strategy. Gotta leave. So, motivation for today. Stay motivated. Please all keep in good spirits, good faith. And I will see you all tomorrow for a brand new episode. Later.